Hi, so I posted this card on my blog and on Facebook recently, and I had a request for how I did this vintage background with the kind of worn cardstock look. So I thought rather than trying to explain, I would just do a short video for you because I thought it would be a lot easier. Unfortunately, I don't have this background stamp because I borrowed it from someone. So I came up with this little design using the same kind of technique, but just changed up the images and just left it a very neutral card. So for this piece of worn cardstock, I've got a piece of the crumb cake card, and I'm going to start off by stamping on it, and I'm going to use some stamps from the Creative Elements stamp set, and just want this little filigree design, and I'm just going to stamp it with some soft suede. I'm going to stamp it just very randomly several times before re-inking, and it's just going to give a really kind of worn vintage look to the card. Just like that. And then once I've done stamping, I am going to take my paper snips, and you want to open them up as wide as they'll go, and then holding the blade between your two fingers, you're then just going to, with a little bit of pressure, just rub the snips down the edge of your card, and you'll just see the cardstock just start to fluff up and become a little bit more worn looking. So you just want to do that all the way along all four edges, and you can do that as much as you like. So if you want kind of a subtle little look here and there, then you can do that, or if you want it to look really, really vintage and worn, then just carry on rubbing your scissors over it, and it will just become much more broken up. So once that is done, then I just set it down on top of my work surface, and I'll just take my fingernail, and I'll get my card between my fingernail and my finger, and I'll just run it along there, just gently, just to kind of pull up this worn edge so that it's facing the right way. And then just taking my finger, I'll just start to curl a couple of the edges up, because you don't want it to be really flat against your card. You want it to have a little bit of form and body to it. So once it's how you like it, then to make it look really, really worn, like on this card here, I'm going to do some sponging. So I've got a soft suede sponge and my ink, and first off, just with a little tiny bit of ink on the sponge, you want to just sponge around the edge, just to give it a little bit of colour. And then I will start to, before re-inking my sponge at all, I'll just start to sponge into the centre of my card, which just gives a really nice blended look to the card. And then once I have gone around and just got the card how I'd like it, I might want to just darken up a couple of the little edges on it. So then I'll go in and take more ink from my ink pad onto my sponge, and then I'll just go in on a few little areas and just make them just a little bit darker for a bit more emphasis. But I wouldn't go around the entire way really heavily with my soft suede, because it's quite a dark colour and you don't want it to look super, super dark. You just want it to kind of look vintage and aged and old looking. So once that's done, I'm going to stamp my sentiment in some early espresso ink down in the corner, like that. And then I've got a small piece of the natural trim, and I've just gone in with my finger and I've just pulled the edge of my thread of the ribbon apart so that it's looking worn and broken up. And then if you just do a line of snail along your cardstock and a line of snail along the ribbon, and you just lay the edge of your ribbon on your card and then just do a little fold in it and go along and do another little fold and another little fold, like so. And because you've got the snail on both your ribbon and on your card, then it's really going to stick down even on the folds, and then you can just snip off the excess and then add a couple of the little wood effect buttons, and we're just going to stick this down to the card before we, so just adding some snail to the back of it. I haven't gone right up to the very edge with my snail because I want the edges to be able to lift up a bit and have a bit of form and shape to them. And that's going to just stick down onto my card like that. Add some glue dots to the back of the buttons. And then the only other thing I did on the card was just go in with my stamp, and I stamped it off slightly and then just very lightly stamped it on the top corner just to fill that gap because it was looking a little bit bare. And then on the other corner I rounded it with my corner rounder, and that's basically it. That's a vintage looking card for you. So I hope you liked it, and let me know if there's any other techniques you would like to know more about. Thanks, bye.